There's a specific kind of frustration only Chargers fans really understand. Watching Justin Herbert, seeing that ridiculous arm talent, and still feeling like the NFL has not seen the complete version of him yet. Now, with Mike McDaniel coming in to design this offense, the conversation feels different. This is not just about creativity, it is a real chance to unlock a quarterback who has carried way too much weight for way too long. Today we've got vertical weapons, a giant offensive line bet, major defensive contract pressure, and a serious battle in the secondary. Hit that like button and ride with me, because Los Angeles might be close to flipping a massive offensive switch. The part that hits every Chargers fan right in the chest is simple. Herbert has always had the talent to ruin an entire defense, but he has rarely had an offense that looked built to make the league feel it every single week. Now Mike McDaniel steps in, a coordinator who turned Miami into a nightmare of space, motion, timing, and pre-snap confusion. That is not some small cosmetic tweak. That can change the size of the field for Herbert. With Tua Tagovailoa, McDaniel had to operate inside certain physical limits. It worked. It was explosive. It was creative. But there was still a frame around it. With Herbert, that frame can get ripped wide open. His arm lets you attack the deep sideline, the tight middle window, the over-the-top shot, the throw that lands before the safety even flips his hips. And when a coach who knows how to manufacture space gets a quarterback who does not need shortcuts to reach any area of the field, the defense starts playing scared before the ball is even snapped. And this is where the excitement needs real analysis behind it, because the Chargers do not have a Tyreek Hill. But maybe that is not even the point. Ladd McConkey brings separation, feel, trust, and the kind of target that keeps the offense alive when a play needs room to breathe. Quentin Johnston is coming off the best season of his career, and if that jump keeps going, he becomes a real explosive threat. Trey Harris adds size, contested catch ability, and physical presence to punish cornerbacks. This is not one name carrying the room. It is a deeper group. Inside, David Njoku changes the temperature. An athletic tight end in the middle of the field forces linebackers and safeties to pick their poison. Oronde Gadsden II adds even more of that unpredictable package feeling, because his value as a receiver opens doors. If the defense protects the outside, Herbert can hurt it inside. If it closes the middle, McDaniel can dial up the vertical shot. And the run game becomes the accomplice to the whole plan. Omarion Hampton, Keaton Mitchell, and Kimani Vidal give the Chargers different ways to attack a front. Burst, speed, downhill force. If the opponent has to respect the run, play action becomes alive. Then Herbert is not just trying to rescue impossible third downs. He is attacking defenses that are already late. That is what gets me emotionally. For years, we have talked about what Herbert could be in an environment that felt more modern, more aggressive, and more tailored to what he does at an elite level. Now it feels like that question is finally heading to the field. Harbaugh is not going to abandon the physical identity, and he should not. But with McDaniel, that power can gain imagination. And if imagination meets execution, the Chargers stop asking Herbert to survive the offense and start asking him to command a machine. Take a breath with me here, because the second story does not have national headline shine, but it smells like smart roster building. Isaiah World was born in San Diego, played at Lincoln High School, went to Nevada, grew into a starter, transferred to Oregon, and showed he could handle a heavier level of competition. The frame grabs your attention right away. 6'8", a massive tackle, the kind of body that makes any offensive line coach look twice. But his story is not a straight line. World was building buzz as a possible mid to late draft pick, especially after a 2025 season with 15 games, 14 starts, 844 offensive snaps, 18 pressures allowed, only 1 sack allowed, and an 82.1 offensive grade from PFF. Then came the torn ACL in the college football playoff semifinal, and his 2026 draft future took the hit. Even then, a lot of people expected somebody to call his name in the later rounds. It did not happen. And that is where Joe Hortiz steps in, where Los Angeles steps in, where smart franchises look for value while other teams are hunting for ready-made security. The Chargers gave World one of the bigger deals among undrafted rookies, and that says something. It does not guarantee a roster spot. It does not hand him a job, but it shows the team saw something worth investing in. Thomas Martinez summed up the read well. When healthy, World has strong physical traits, is viewed as a high-character prospect, but his technique still needs to grow. That is exactly the kind of bet that fits an offensive line with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt already setting the standard. World does not need to walk in tomorrow and save the season. He needs to heal, learn, sharpen his hands, his base, his angles, and his consistency. That is where the value lives. The Chargers need to protect Herbert right now, but they also need to keep the offensive line alive for the future. A massive local tackle, with experience at Nevada and Oregon, who already showed serious production before the injury, is not just a camp body. He is a project. And a good project, when hidden behind strong starters, can turn into real depth before the league even notices. But today's script also carries a pressure point that is not on offense. Daiyan Henley is entering the final year of his rookie deal, and that brings up a question Los Angeles cannot just keep pushing down the road. Who is going to be part of the defensive core when this team tries to hold up in a division fight? Henley did not enter the NFL as background noise. A third-round pick in 2023 out of Washington State, he developed behind veterans, absorbed the game, and then started turning into one of the most dependable pieces on the Bolts' defense. His value starts with that sideline-to-sideline speed, but also with the intelligence to do more than just run. He reads, reacts, closes space, covers tight ends and running backs, and can still come in as a blitzer when the call demands aggression. The jump from very good to league-recognized elite lives in the plays that swing games. Interception, forced fumble, sack in the moment when the whole stadium holds its breath, tackle for loss that kills a drive. Henley has already shown the foundation. In 2026, he has to turn that foundation into moments the whole league cannot ignore. And the timing is brutal, in the best way. A contract year changes everything. Every Sunday becomes an argument. Every clean coverage rep, every pre-snap adjustment, every hit in the right gap, every clean communication becomes part of the case. If he pops again, the extension conversation gets a lot more serious. And if the Chargers really want to operate like a winning franchise, keeping homegrown talent has to be part of the plan. With Chris O'Leary taking over as defensive coordinator for the first time, Henley's responsibility gets even bigger. He is not just a productive linebacker. He is the green dot guy, the voice in the middle of the defense, the player who has to turn the call into execution while the opposing offense is trying to scramble everything. That carries real weight, and I like that pressure for him. Some players shrink when the contract year arrives. Henley feels like the type who can speed up, because urgency is already built into his game. The Chargers will need him playing at a high level if they want to truly fight for the AFC West. Not to win praise in July, to close drives in December, when the margin disappears and every mistake costs you. And now we get to a fight that is less glamorous, but maybe one of the most important battles in camp, the cornerback room. Training camp opens on July 28th, with rookies reporting on the 23rd, and Los Angeles is going to put a lot of players on the field knowing that snaps, contract futures, and even possible Joe Ortiz moves can come out of those practices. At the top, the room has Dante Jackson, Tarheeb Still, and Cam Hart. Jackson is still playing at a high level, but he is in the final year of his deal and turns 31 in November. Still and Hart were both fifth-round picks in 2024, and both have shown value, but both carry different questions. Still had a slight sophomore dip. Hart has dealt with injuries. Depending on what they put on tape, both could move toward extension conversations. Behind them, the competition gets hot. Dean Leonard brings value on special teams. Nico Reed went undrafted in 2025, made the 53-man roster, and used his opportunities well. Eric Rodgers flashed hard in the 2025 preseason, but missed the entire year with an injury. Now he comes back with a real chance to position himself as the next man in the rotation. And Avery Smith, a highly regarded UDFA out of Toledo, walks right into that dangerous part of the roster. Not much experience, but a real opening for someone to take space. This battle matters because cornerback is a cruel position. You can think you have depth in June and find out in October that you are one injury away from changing the entire defensive plan. Chris O'Leary needs to know whether he can trust these young guys. If Reed, Rodgers, Smith, or another name shows they can play real snaps, the Chargers gain flexibility with the cap, the draft, and the rotation. If nobody convinces them, Ortiz will not just sit there and watch. Recent history already showed that. When Los Angeles needed help, he traded for Elijah Molden. So the message to this room is clear. Either somebody takes the job with authority, or the phone starts getting heavier. I want to hear from the Bolt War Room in the comments. Which cornerback outside the top 3 do you think can surprise the most in camp? To me, this is the kind of competition that separates a nice roster on paper from a team ready to survive a full season. The offense can explode, Herbert can level up, Henley can become a face of the defense, but if the secondary cannot hold up against AFC depth, everything gets harder. Camp is not just practice, it is a trust audit. In the end, all 4 stories point to the same reality. The Chargers are trying to turn promise into structure. If you want to follow that road every day, subscribe to the channel and stay right here, because the potential is already there. Now the Bolts have to make the league feel it.